Good morning, tree. You're looking super beautiful and glamorous in the sunlight. Ah, so soft, so beautiful. I like talking to the trees. I think if you can start to see nature and specifically trees as just not calling them it or a thing, and instead seeing it as a who, and speaking to them in that way and like forming a relationship with it, then we start to treat trees and nature in such a different way and have a whole new form of respect for it. Because now if I'm taking something from this tree, even if it's the wood, if it's the leaves, if it's the fruit, whatever, I'm taking it from someone instead of something. So it automatically just gains more respect from me and hopefully from all of human life. And I think, if we can do that for all of nature, what a different world that would be. Anyway, today I am here to make pine needle tea and show you how it's done. So this is an eastern white pine. It can be found pretty much anywhere east of the Mississippi, so anywhere on the east coast of America or North America. I don't think you can find it in other places in the world. It might be cultivated there, but in order to make pine needle tea, you don't need eastern white pine specifically. You can drink almost any pine as a tea. Just be aware that there are a couple that are poisonous. I know like Australian pine, ponderosa pine, and yew are species that look very similar, but they do have some toxic traits to them, so you want to be careful of that. But eastern white pine is very safe to drink, very easy to identify as well, super common on the East Coast, and the way you can identify it is by the needles. So they come in clusters of 5, so if I just break off one of these clusters over here, you can just count on your hand that it has 5 needles to them, whereas I believe a red pine has clusters of 2 needles and a yellow pine has clusters of 3 needles. So if you're finding one with 5 needles, then you're good to go. Again, just do some Googling, check what the ponderosa, the Australian, the yew have. I'm not 100% sure because there aren't any of those here. But depending on where you are in the world, just do some research and make sure that you are getting the right thing so you don't kill yourself. But again, most pines are absolutely fine to consume, and it's super delicious. So for me, growing up in South Africa and that being a former British colony, tea has always been a very big part of my life. There used to be a stage where I drank coffee almost every single day, and then I realized all the negative effects that was having for me in terms of caffeine, and so I really have cut back on coffee a lot, and I'll have maybe 1 cup a week, 1 cup every 2 weeks. And so tea has really become my replacement for that. And I drink like 2 or 3 cups of tea a day just because I absolutely love it. And one thing that really bothers me in America, I don't know if this happens in other countries, but again, coming from South Africa, I've really noticed the difference is that almost every tea bag is individually wrapped in plastic. And I really hate that. And so did that for a long time and then started to become aware of that and wanted to change my habits and my consumption. And so I started ordering loose leaf tea, which is definitely much better, a good replacement. But obviously there's still shipping cost involved. It can be expensive. And that's when I stumbled across pine leaf tea and just natural wild teas that are around us for free. And so if you have any worries about money, or you want to be more conscious about your consumption, then why not indulge in what nature has to offer and gift us absolutely for free? So I've kind of like stopped buying tea now, and I just drink pine needle tea, especially in winter. That's one thing that's really great because I like to forage. I like to engage with the world around me, the natural world. And during winter, there's not that much to forage, not that much to consume consciously from the land. But one of the main things that is very abundant is pine in the winter because obviously they are evergreen and they last the whole way through. So this is a great replacement and holds me over for the winter in terms of my foraging needs or addiction. No, it's not an addiction. foraging. What is the word I'm looking for? Withdrawal. I don't know. So another way to identify eastern white pine is that the needles kind of look like fireworks just exploding at the end of the branches, which is really cool to see. And then the needles are also really soft and nice to feel in your hand. The bark is also kind of like almost like grayish brown color rather than like a darker deep brown color. And these trees normally just grow straight up, with their branches kind of going out in like a umbrella kind of shape. You can also identify it by the pine cones, which are normally around 2 to 4 inches long, and this is what they look like. Wow, the sun is really beaming through now. I feel like I need to move to the shade. That did not make a difference. I'll go to the other side. There we go. Okay, so when it comes to actually harvesting the leaves, obviously you want to be respectful. One of the first rules of foraging is don't take more than you need. Don't take more than half. It's going to be pretty difficult to take more than half of these leaves and take more than I need. I'm probably only just going to take a handful for right now because I don't need more. But yeah, it's just having respect for the plants, having respect for the world around you. Again, it's going to be very difficult to take too much of pine. But if there's only like one pine tree in your area and you take half the thing, of course that tree's going to suffer. But I think it's going to be pretty difficult for most people to do. So anyway, when you are foraging, I just have a pocket knife with me, so nothing crazy. You just want to cut about a handful off of the leaf. Just be gentle with it. Obviously you're cutting a living thing, so just be careful. Be careful with the knife on your own as well. You can also just pull the needles off if you want to. But we end up with this beautiful handful of really soft pine needles. So I'm just going to put this in my pockets and keep this for later. And we're going to go make a nice fire in the woods and boil some water and make the tea. Wow, this hickory tree is massive. Whew. It's cold today, it's below freezing. I didn't think it would be that cold, but here we are. Anyway, some of the benefits of pine needle tea is that it is super high in vitamin C, which for when the settlers were coming over here to America in the very early days and there were no fruits or vegetables during winter, they used to consume pine needle tea pretty often because it's so high in vitamin C. It's actually, apparently it has 4 to 5 times more vitamin C than an orange or a lemon does, which is pretty crazy. I did not expect that. So when you're drinking this tea, you're really giving yourself a favor in terms of an immune boost, which is going to help you fight colds and flu, all that kind of stuff. It is also high in antioxidant properties. It is an anti-inflammatory. It also helps with respiratory issues. So if you have any kind of coughs or even, again, just any effects from cold or flu, it's really going to help you with that and like decongest mucus. Look how beautiful this piece of quartz is. Just so randomly in the middle of these woods. Like I don't see any other quartz around. And this is just solid white sticking out from the ground. So cool. I wish I could just shrink this and take it home and then unshrink it and make it big. That would be awesome. So I know this isn't really part of the video, but I'm about to make a fire and there is this beautiful birch tree right next to the river, which any kind of paper birch will just have this really thin, papery thin bark. That is amazing for starting fires. Even when it's wet, you can light this, and it's honestly better than like most fire starters I've used. So I'm going to collect some of this. Okay, we have fire. Okay, seems like we finally have it going now. Now that my pants are soaked, because I decided to make it on a wet riverbank. Best choices. So with me, I just have a jet boil pot that I'm going to put straight on the fire. Obviously, just make it super easy to boil water. I would take the water right from this river, but we are in like residential neighborhoods in Connecticut. Well, it's like surrounded by a residential neighborhood. So I don't really want to risk it, and I didn't bring a water filter. If I had a water filter with me, I would have taken straight from this river, but I just have water from home, and that's good enough for now. So yeah, I might just collect some rocks and build up a little bit of a platform for this pot, just so it's not directly on the fire. If I can get any rocks that aren't frozen into the earth. Oh. Okay, I got some rocks from the river. I just hope it doesn't make it all wet. But I can kind of like squish the fire in like that. And see if I can balance it on top of this. There you go. Okay, and now a lot of steam coming off of here because of the wet rock, which I hope isn't suffocating the fire. But it seems to be doing fine. Now I just gotta wait for this to boil. Oh, I am absolutely loving this. Just to be able to make fire like out of nothing from the materials around me that are just provided for free once again. To be able to sit next to this beautiful river. Oh no, the water's falling. To be able to sit next to this beautiful river, listening to the sounds, and to be surrounded by these incredible trees as well. So these are all pines surrounding me, just in this little pine grove over here. And there's no one else around me. So I'm kind of on like I guess just like a walking trail in the middle of some suburbs here in Connecticut. But there's kind of a big loop around, and most people just follow the loop. And so they don't even explore this middle section, which is, to me, the most beautiful part. Just getting off the trail and coming to places like this. I am so happy right now. I just want to like stay in this moment forever. with the sun coming through the pines, the smell of campfire, water boiling. I'm about to have some pine needle tea. What a day. Okay, so now that we finally have our water boiled, I'm just going to bring it over here to the bridge where we have a bit more of a flat area to work with. So you got your boiling water, you have another container that you'll obviously make the tea in. I just brought this cool little glass beaker kind of thing. Okay, so now what you're going to do is take your pine needles, break them away from the branch, and you just want to break them up into little pieces so that it kind of like releases the juices and fluids from inside the needles, and you're literally just going to drop that into the glass jar. It's nothing too difficult or too special, but at the same time, I guess it is very special. This is a very ancient and sacred process of making herbal teas from nature around us, and it's so beautiful to engage with the natural world like this and be so involved in the world around us, which doesn't really happen nowadays, which is pretty sad. I think when you go into a grocery store and you buy tea that's packaged in tea bags and individual plastic wrapping, you have no relationship to those plants. You have no relationship to the creation of that tea. And so when we consume it, for the most part, it's taken for granted. And we don't really understand the benefits or the care or the growth and the life that went into that. I think when you do this, you realize that this is life. This is another life that we are taking and we are using to consume and to make our lives better. So it needs to be done with the absolute most respect and compassion and honor. And I think that's what this practice gives you. And then finally, when you're ready, just pour the boiling water over the pine needles and just let it sit there. You can even cover it up if you want to. Just let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes and steep. Okay, so finally, after, again, 5 to 10 minutes, your tea will now be steeped and ready for drinking. So I just brought another little mug with me, just a Yeti little flask, and then I also have this tea strainer. You can also use like what's it called? A tea cloth, or even like a bandana would work. Or you get the tea balls as well. Literally just anything that's gonna strain out the pine needles from actually going in your drink. Wow, this fire is really smoking. I'm gonna change the camera angle. Okay, so putting my strainer in the mug and then literally just pouring the tea over it. Actually, most of the pine needles stayed in the first beaker, so that's cool. And there we go. You've got your pine needle tea. Now, it doesn't, I know you can't see the inside the liquid, but it actually looks very much like water. So pine needle tea doesn't leave much color in the water like black tea would, for example, or even floral teas. So once you make it, it's gonna look like water basically, but it does have a really nice pine aroma and pine taste as well. And then obviously you're still going to get all of those benefits as well because of the pine needle soaking in the hot water. So yeah, I encourage you to go try it yourself. If anything, you get free tea out of it and get to spend a really cool day out in nature in the pine forests. Tastes like I'm drinking the forest. This is so beautiful. So the final thing I wanted to speak about is just saying thank you. Again, it comes back to the beginning of the video, like speaking to the trees. And the trees, nature is so much more intelligent than we know. They're on a communication level way past our intelligence. So even just having, I know it sounds kind of out there and weird, but having the energy of gratitude and thankfulness, like that resonates in the natural world, and that it comes back to you. So it's about completing the cycle. I took from the trees, in ancient native cultures, it's honorable to give something back as well, which I should have thought about. I didn't really think about giving back, but usually, like in Native American traditions, they give back tobacco whenever they take something from the land or the trees. I'd like to believe I'm giving back in terms of education and hopefully inspiring other people to get outside and connecting with nature, and just by being here and being present with what's happening. But even if you don't do any of that, just having the mindfulness to say thank you and to be grateful for all of this beauty. And it's just so incredible, and so many people don't see this beauty. Like, I know I've said it multiple times, but this is literally in between suburbs in Connecticut. People don't think of Connecticut as a place to be in nature. Like, most people I know in Connecticut don't do these kind of things, but this is right here. And I know Connecticut's not the only place that is like that. We have beautiful nature all around us. It doesn't have to be forest, it doesn't have to be mountains, even a desert. Like, it's all around. The beauty is all around us, and we just have to be open to seeing it and making an effort to be in relationship with the land around us. And once you start, it's just endless how much beauty there is. Even just looking at this landscape, I'm like, wow, there's so much to learn. There's so much to do. There's so much to be a part of. And our society is just not a part of this. And that's what I'm trying to do with this video, with this channel, is hopefully help people become a part of this. Because this is it. This is what it is. This is what it has been. Nature knows the way. I really don't want this video to end. I'm having so much fun doing this, but unfortunately it has come to an end. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this style of video. Please, if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to answer as much as I can, and again, be an active part of this community and really try and help people. If you like the video, let me know. If you want to subscribe, follow along for more. Definitely want to do more stuff like this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.